Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Weiss from bodyperformance.net, and today I'm teaming with Riptone Fitness Products to answer a question they had from a customer, and it was, what is the best way to gain mass and shed fat? I've had this question asked me 1,000 times at least over the last 35 years of doing this, and the guy that sent it through here, he's 39 years old. He said he's been consistently working out for 5 years, has dropped 20 pounds. So congratulations on that. And he said he's joined the 1,000 pound club. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm assuming he means maybe in his powerlifting total, a combination between his squat and his bench and his deadlift, which is quite an achievement. So congratulations if that's what you're talking about. But when we're talking about answering this question, you're actually asking two questions. So I've separated it into two separate answers, and I've jotted down some quick notes to make sure that I can get this across to you and answer it the best that I can. So when you say gain mass, I'm assuming you mean lean mass, so muscle tissue, because gaining mass and gaining muscle are two different things. If you overeat over a long period of time, you're going to gain mass. That's going to be just the way it is. But a very low percentage of it will probably be muscle, and that's, I'm assuming, not what you're looking for. So let's assume that you're talking about gaining muscle mass. So when we're talking about gaining lean muscle mass, obviously we want you training with weights. And we want you training with weights in a way that's going to cause the most disruption in the body, which is going to cause the body to adapt and grow bigger and stronger. And the thing that is going to do this is going to be the big compound movements. We're talking about the bench, the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, power cleans, bent over barbell rows. The list goes on and on and on, where we're working more than one muscle at a time. It's not to say that the isolation type exercises are bad, but the bulk of your work needs to be made up with these big compound movements that are going to make the body have to adapt, and they have the most ability to make you stronger. And if you're stronger, you can work harder and you can add more muscle through that. So that would be the first thing that I address. The second thing that we're looking at is we have to make sure that you're getting in enough protein when we're dealing with your diet. You don't have to take mountains of protein though. What I usually suggest to people is whatever they weigh, try and get between 0.8 and 1 gram per pound. So if you're a 200-pound male or female, doesn't matter, you should be getting probably between 180, 175 to 200. You're going to be, if you are getting in that amount of protein, you're going to be covered. Taking in a huge amount more than that, you're probably just wasting your energy. And if you're using supplements to get it, you're definitely wasting your money. You should be able to get that amount of protein just through a good quality diet. So 0.8 to 1 gram per pound, and that's going to keep you covered on that front. Now that we've talked about protein, we have to talk about the rest of your food too. Your total calories. You're wanting to put on extra muscle mass, you're wanting to gain weight, you have to eat more. You have to be in a surplus. Once again, just like with your protein, that does not mean a massive surplus where you're gaining tons of weight in very short amount of time. In reality, you've been training, it says here you've been training for 5 years, so you're not a newbie. You're not going to be gaining muscle mass at a rapid rate. A lot of people don't want to hear it, but if you're gaining between 2 and 5, and 5 would be definitely on the high side, of pounds of lean muscle per year after you're no longer a newbie, you're having a pretty good year. So that's not real popular for people to hear, but it is the truth. So if you're gaining 5 to 10 pounds a month of body weight, and you're telling yourself that you're gaining all muscle mass, or even a good portion of it is muscle mass, I'm here to tell you it's not happening. So if you're taking in enough calories, you should be gaining slowly. Let's say at a pound per month would be a good starter, and that's probably going to level off after a few months too. You're going to be able to be pretty sure that a good percentage of that is going to be muscle mass. Unfortunately, it's nearly impossible to gain 100% muscle mass with no body fat, so keep that in mind as well. The last thing I want to touch on with gaining lean muscle tissue is your recovery. I've dealt with so many people over the years. They come to me claiming to be doing everything right, not getting any stronger, not getting any more muscular. When I look into what they're doing, very quickly I see they're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. That's just not going to work. They're training 6-7 days a week, which is too much in my opinion and lots of people's opinion. So those two factors together, maybe put it that they're under eating as well. They're not getting enough protein. All of these things are going to factor into your recovery. But sleep is a huge factor in this. So if you think you're doing everything right and you're not gaining any muscle mass, look at your sleep, and I can almost guarantee it's going to be less than ideal. So moving on to the second part of the question is shedding fat, losing body fat. Everybody wants to be lean. Everybody wants to have abs, all these things, and that requires low body fat. Without a question, the biggest factor in losing body fat is calorie deficit. You must be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. That's why people asking, how do I gain 10 pounds of muscle and lose 10 pounds of fat simultaneously? Sorry, there is no answer to that unless it's in a very special situation like you've never worked out before and you're extremely obese. In that situation, you may be able to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. Most people aren't in that situation, and that's not what we're talking about here. So you have to focus on one or the other. And to lose body fat, you must be in a calorie deficit. You must be burning more calories than you're taking in. So for most people, I tell them, set your calories at about 12 or 13 times your body weight. So if you weighed 100 pounds, I'm just using 100 pounds as a round number to make the math easy. Your calories should be around 1,300 to 1,500 calories. That should be enough of a deficit to start you losing weight. You can increase your deficit slightly by increasing your cardio exercise. That's a viable option, but it's very easy to overdo that. And if you're not losing body fat and you're already doing, say, half an hour of cardio per day, your diet is not dialed in the way it needs to be. So that needs to be adjusted. You are not going to out-exercise your diet. So thinking that you can keep eating whatever you want to eat and just do more exercise and lose body fat, good luck with that, because it's not going to work. I can tell you that right now. The next thing that we want to deal with is our exercise in the weight room. Maintaining muscle mass is going to have the biggest effect on maintaining your healthy metabolism than anything else. To maintain your muscle mass in a calorie deficit, you need to be doing the same things that you did to gain that muscle mass. You need to be having a majority of your exercise in the big complex movements. You're not trying to burn off your body fat by lifting lighter weights faster. That just does not work. You want to spend your time doing the same squats, deadlifts, power cleans, bench presses, the list goes on, and maintaining as much strength and muscle mass as you possibly can. Losing weight is going to sometimes compromise these things, but if you change your training to where it's more lightweight, short rest periods, going very fast, you're actually going to be losing more muscle mass. And so if you lose 10 pounds of body weight and half of it is fat, or half of it is, half is fat and half is muscle, guess what? You're actually going to be at a higher body fat percentage at the end of the day. So that doesn't seem like a good way to go about it to me. Make sure you're getting enough protein. This was the same with gaining muscle mass. I would keep the protein exactly the same, 0.8 to 1 gram. And you're going to have to dice away some of your carbohydrates and some of your fats to get yourself into the calorie deficit that you're looking at. If you're getting that 0.8 to 1 gram of protein, you're going to be doing everything that you can to give your muscles the stuff they need to hang around so that you're not losing muscle mass. Very important to maintain your muscle mass through your exercise, but also making sure that you're getting enough protein. Now, the last thing that I'm going to mention for losing body fat, and I mentioned it once again in gaining muscle mass, is recovery. Guess what happens to your recovery when you put yourself into a calorie deficit? It goes down. It does not stay the same or improve. So when I see people that are wanting to cut down their body fat and they start jacking up their workout volumes and their sleep is still subpar. They're once again 4 or 5 hours a night. They just end up overtraining very quickly, possibly getting hurt, possibly getting sick, and they're not getting any leaner. I've seen people that have been seemingly, once again, doing everything right, but they come to me and they're like, I'm not losing any body fat. And I dig a little bit into it, and there you go. They're getting very little sleep a night, 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and it's just not going to be enough for them. Your recovery is so important, whether you're trying to gain muscle or lose fat. Don't neglect your sleep. So I hope I answered your question with this. It's a very broad question, and it actually has two answers to it. So I hope that I covered them both. If anyone has any other questions that they'd like answered, send them through to Riptone Fitness. They'll get them to me, and I'll answer them for you. So I'm Kevin Weiss from bodyperformance.net, teaming with Riptone Fitness products. I hope this helped you out. I'll talk to you again real soon.